Ooh, that was really solid.
Bob, I'm going to compare you to Grant Waite, who was a tour player during the 90s and considered by many to have one of the best swings in golf. He's now one of the top instructors of tour players. I'm going to begin at the impact position, which is the most important, because everything the golf ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins and curves, is responding to the laws of physics and motion that exist at the moment of impact. It is your club's position at impact that determines those laws of physics and motion. And it is your body's position at impact that determines the club's position. And everything you do prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. First, we'll look at the weight distribution. Grant has the majority of his weight on his left side. In fact, the average pro on tour will have 85% of their weight on their left side at impact. You can see how the blue line from his left foot is passing right through his belt buckle. You too have the majority of your weight on your left side, which is very good. You don't have quite as much as Grant does. The reason you want your majority of weight on your left side is that you want to make sure that the low point of your swing is in front of the golf ball so that you can hit the ball before you hit the ground. The second thing the pros do in order to keep the low point in front of the golf ball so that they hit the ball first and the ground second is they make sure their hands are in front of the golf ball at impact. As I've stopped Grant in the sixth position, this is when the shaft of the club is parallel to the ground. Hands are right, almost caught up to the golf ball. So his hands are almost even with the golf ball, while the shaft is parallel right there. So I'm going to move him forward now, and at impact, he's here. He makes sure his hands and creates his shaft lane at impact. By doing that, he's able to hit down into the golf ball and hit the ball first and the ground second. So as you approach the ball, you're just now starting to hit it. I can see the blur of the ball starting to leave the mat. So your hands are basically even with the golf ball at this point. I want to move it one more frame. It's just a little bit after impact. So from here to here, you're hitting the ball. But you don't have the same level of shaft lean that Grant does. If this is impact, you're almost in almost a vertical position with your shaft, and so you don't have that shaft leaning. When you have a vertical shaft at impact, it's going to create a shallower approach to the golf ball, and this can lead to fat shots and thin shots. Now let's look at some of the positions prior to impact to see what influence they have on your impact position. Here at the beginning of the swing, the one position, and when we look at you compared to Grant, I don't see a lot of difference here. You've got a little bit more weight on your left side. It's recommended that you want to be about 55% on the left, 45 on the right. That looks really good. You already have preset a shaft lean, so you're kind of in a little mini impact position at the beginning. You're sending the right signals to your brain about what you want at impact. You've got your left foot flared out a little bit, which I like. So your one position is going to positively influence your impact position. The only thing in your setup it is different from Grant is the ball position. Your ball is positioned a little bit further back in your stance than Grant. This can make it easier to get your hands in front of the golf ball, but at the same time it can make it more difficult to square the club face up at impact. It is possible that there's a correlation between your vertical shaft at impact and your ball position. Your brain may sense that it's going to have difficulty squaring the club face up with the ball back that far, and therefore it flips the club face quickly as it approaches the ball and does not get into a shaft leaning position because it's focused more on squaring the club face up. So it's something you could experiment with. Is maybe experiment a little bit with moving the ball forward slightly in your stance. I'm now going to move the swing from the 1 position to the 3 position. I'll do Grant first as he goes back into the 3 position. The 3 position is when the left arm is parallel to the ground. You can see how Grant stabilizes his axis. He stays on his left side. He does not sway to the right. His left knee, left hip, left shoulder are all on top of his left foot there. Keeps a nice extension in his arms, his left arm, and he started hinging his wrist. He's almost at a right angle with his wrist. Now I'm going to take you back to the 3 position. You've done a pretty good job of staying on the left side. You may not be quite as much as Grant, but it's certainly within an acceptable range. So I like that. You've got a pretty good extension in your left arm. You're hinging your wrist. Your club shaft is easily at a right angle to your left arm. So that's good. There's a lot of similarities there. Now I'm going to take you to the top of the swing and then down through impact to the 9th position. I'll do Grant first. When he gets to the 9th position, right arm is fully extended, left arm is fully extended. His left hand is underneath the right hand. His elbows are close together. Chest, belt buckle, everything is facing towards the target. So I move you now from here down and through. You don't have the same degree of extension in your arms. You have a little bit of a break in your right arm. Your elbows are bent here. Your elbows tend to be separating, and this video, the indoor video, is a little bit more blurry. Don't know, but it has the appearance that your left hand is not quite as much underneath your right hand. So one of the things that I would like to see, particularly as you get through here, is this right arm is not extending through impact, and that it almost, the degree that your right arm is bent here is normal. Grant's right arm is bent. It's in the process of extending the right. Just focus just on that right arm. And it stretches and extends through the ball. And so Grant's right arm is bent here, but is almost completely extended here. And yours is bent here, but it stays bent all the way through. It never really gets completely extended. So this is one of the key areas that I would focus on first with you. Is I would give you some drills to train how to correctly extend the right arm through impact. That will give you a completely brand new dynamic strike of the ball. It will give you a sensation you haven't really felt before. And once you feel that, it's going to change everything in your swing. I think this is the key piece that I would work on first, is getting the release of the hands and arms, particularly the right side, to release that through to get that extension. That'll give you the pop that you want. That'll give you the compression you want. And that ball will just come off hot off that club face with a lot less effort.